Broadcasting live from her living room on Broadway. She's your grandma and mine. It's Dragma's Late Night Natterbox. Your host, Dragma. Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh, we're back again on a Friday night. Isn't time flying? It's super flying. Cheers to you all. Hello, good evening. Hello. Let's see who we've got. We've got John Paul is watching. Nicole Birch got in straight away with the comments there. Well done, Nicole, saying, hey, Dragma. Hey, Nicole, how are you? Let me just double check that the audio is... Yes, the audio is working. That's wonderful. John Paul is watching. Hello, John. How are you? And Becky Elizabeth King. Hello. Susan... Oh, Grandma's... Mama. Dragma's Mama's in house. I'm so pleased to see you, Mama, because, well, you know, after last week you were missing for most of it. Well, I thought you'd gone AWOL. Sophie says, hey, Dragma, cheers. Hiya, Sophie Hinksman. What are you drinking tonight? Cody Morris, where were you last week? I missed you. I'm so glad you're back on tonight, though. It's lovely to see you all. Look, I've gone all rainbow this week, because on Sunday last week, it was Ida Hobbit Day. Ida Hobbit, yes, I did a Hobbit. I did. No, I didn't. The International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia. Ida Hobbit. Yes, well, that's why I did rainbows. Look, rainbows, especially for Dr. Tanya Acheron, who isn't on here yet. Please, oh, thank you, Becky, thank you. Please tell me what you're drinking. It's very important. I'm on my extortionate mouse traps today. That's what I'm on. Extortionate mouse traps. I had to pin my hair back. It was getting so awful. I had to... Sophie Shears, you said you weren't going to be late again this week, and you've just joined in. You were late again. I need to get you a watch, young lady. It's 4 minutes past 9 o'clock on a Friday night. You should have been sat here waiting for me to come on air since 2 o'clock this afternoon. VK Berry and Blue sounds lovely. Vodka and Diet Lemonade sounds good. The diet's good. What ride am I on? Well, that's a good question, Jamie. I do not know. I think I'm somewhere in Disneyland, but it's quite scary, and I'm going to probably get quite wet, which I don't really want to do because my face will end up like a panda. And I've already had streaming eyes tonight, for God knows what reason. Hay fever. Maybe I just got some powder in my eyes. Who knows? Cheers, everyone. Let's find out what's on tonight's show. Coming up on tonight's Dragma's Late Night Natterbox, we chat espresso martinis with Dragma, looking at this week's lockdown looks and things to do during lockdown. And we catch up on this week's fake news. All this and more tonight on Dragma's Late Night Natterbox. Well, I'm getting very good at this microphone business. You can all hear me now, can't you? Usually when I do these segments, I mean... Matt Robbins watching. Hello, Matt. Cheers to you, darling. Geraint's watching. We've got some latecomers. Kate Knowles. Evening train. Yes, well, I am on some kind of boaty train going on here. Boaty McBoatface, I think. My friend is watching with one With one what, darling? Your water flume ride looks amazing. It is amazing, but it's very soggy, and I do not like a soggy bottom. And my... Do you want to see? My bottom is... No, I'm not going to show you it. We do this every week. I think about getting things out for you, and then I realise the time, and it's not quite late enough to be showing you stuff. Hi, Alex Waddell, you're late to the party too. Shame on you. I mean, you got home about 3 o'clock this afternoon from work. Watch out behind me. I know, Kate. I know. Oh, Mother says, hello, dear, I got my cup of tea. She got a cup of... Oh, gosh, I got wet then. A cup of tea. Well, Mother, it's a Friday night. You should be on the gin. Sophie Shears is on the pink gin. She told me. How's your week been, everyone? Have you had a wonderful week? Oh, thanks, Care. Nice hair. It's not very good. It's getting so long and horrible. And I had to just pin it back this afternoon because it was hanging down here like a fringe like this, and I couldn't see shit. Sorry, I couldn't see nothing. But thank you. How can I am late? You just started. Yes, but you weren't there right for the start. I can see. Just because my face might be on the screen, and just because St. Winnie Foodie's choir is playing, doesn't mean I can't see who's watching, Sophie Shears. Big Brother is watching. Yes, Kate, I am so moist. I am moist. I am. Well, I did think I would dry up, but that saucy Irish lady, the drunk Irish lady, she lent me one of her I don't know what it is, but it wobbles and vibrates. It's very fun. So I'm not wet any. I'm quite moist now, thanks to that. Yes, I'm on this log flume. It's great. It's great. It's great. I sound like my brother, Jonathan. I think there's a thing, see. I think anyone called Jonathan can't say their R's. Because Jonathan Wass can't either. Jonathan Parr can't say. He says wobbly wobbly. Yes, I'm drinking WVK Blue now. Oh, you've switched drinks, have you, Nicole? You absolute alky. You're my favourite Arnity, says Sophie Shears. Oh, well, you're my favourite niece too, darling. Ooh, sorry, I'm burping. Ooh! This is burpy tonight, this erotic mousetrap. Ooh. Yes, well, how has your week been? I hope you've had a good week. My week's been okay. I've been very busy this week. I've been learning lots of things to do at home, which I think we'll find on the lockdown looks today. We'll find lots of interesting ideas that we can do at home during the lockdown, because remember, this is Sofa Share Wales. We are still in Wales and the lockdown is still happening. Do not listen to those English muppets. We are still in lockdown, and this weekend, I know it's bank holiday, but you cannot go out. So tonight's show, I thought I would show you lots of things that you could do at home. Your mum is wibbly wobbly. Yes, Kate Knowles, I'm sure she is. She's drinking tea, so she must be very wibbly wobbly by now. Your bum is a neurotic mousetrap. If I'd known, I would have called John Warwie. Yes, Mum, I think we should just change his name to Warwie. It would be brilliant. Warwie. Your bum is neurotic mousetrap. Well, it is. My bum will never shut up about itself, and it also traps lots of mice. Oh, God, something just moved in my studio. Do you know what? We haven't had a death in my care homes, but thank God. Ooh. But there's been some ghostly activities this week. I woke up and the front door was wide open. This morning I woke up and the freezer was wide open and everything was getting a bit gooey. And just now, a bag just fell from the ceiling. I mean, who stores bags on ceilings? I don't know, but I think that's where I put the peacock. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll have a look in a minute. Anyway, let's have a look at tonight's lockdown looks. You can see I'm in a life drawing class, but unfortunately there's no balls. Oh, look, here's one thing you could do. You could stand on your head. There's plenty of YouTube. This is actually yoga, I believe, although I have never been to a yoga class where they've made me do this. My thighs are a bit thicker than that as well. But yes, I mean, if you can do that, I say go for it. Do it. Go. Do it all the way. Absolutely. Headstands. Do you know, if you're upside down, do you feel really sick, do you think? Are you able to drink upside down? Do you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if I can drink my expensive margarita upside down. Oh, I did! Cheers to me! Well, I think I might take up yoga if I could do my my expensive mortician whilst doing yoga. I think I might as well take that up. Yes. Well, let's have a look at number 2. Yoga. Headstanding yoga. Ooh, life drawing. Now, you could do some life drawing. This probably wouldn't work if you were at home, say, by yourself. If you were in lockdown by yourself. Oh, Sally Ann Evans, I've just noticed you're watching, dear. I haven't seen you for a few. And Naz, 2 of my favourite people in the world are here tonight. Sally Ann Evans and Nazim. Hello. Hello. Both of you. Mwah, mwah. I mean, these are social distance kissing. Mwah, mwah. What you could do, actually. Should we all have a social distance snog right now? Everyone, just put your lips up to the screen and give me a big kiss. And it's more than 2 meters away, because I don't think you're in this room. I love you all. As I was saying, cheers. What are you drinking, Sally Ann? And what are you drinking, Nazim? As I was saying, you could do, if you were in lockdown with more than one person, you could do life drawing. Yes, you could. James Parl is watching, and I know he's in lockdown with Mother. So, James, my brother, you could ask Mum to strip off naked and sit on her deck chair whilst you draw her one afternoon. It'd be nice and sunny next week, so you could do it in the garden even. That could be quite good, couldn't it? I love you, Dragma. You're amazing. Shut up, Geraint. You're amazing, not me. But let's all be amazing together. Mwah! Loving your makeup today. Gin and tonic. Yes, babes. My makeup, I've gone for rainbow. I've gone for a bit for Pride and a bit for the NHS. Oh, but do you know what? The green bit. Look at this. I've just noticed. If I go too close, my eyes disappear, look, because the green picks up and I end up with, like, life-drawing eyebrows. Oh, that's a funny little strange phenomenon right there, isn't it? Yay, Naked Saturday at the care home. Oh, yes. I wonder if we can get the drunk Irish lady enough to take... drunk Irish lady drunk enough to take off all of her clothes and we can draw her. I mean, I've not seen a vagina other than my own for years, so I would be quite interested to see and compare what an old lady's vagina looks like. If anybody knows or has any photos, please do send them in, because I would like to know. Because do you know what's actually? You might think you're quite normal, but until you see everybody else's, you have no idea whatsoever, do you? And the thing is, with Pornhub, free Pornhub over the lockdown, there's been no granny vaginas on there. No one's making granny porn, are they? Well, I think that's shambolic, because I think there are certain grannies, especially that one Kate in my care home, she'd be making porn if she could. I mean, she's 104, but gosh, my gosh, she can still do the splits. True story. So yes, you could do some. I'd like to see the drunk every day with some clothes on. Whoa. How is it then, Kate Knowles, that when I leave the house and go to my studio, the care is ripping off all her clothes? Oh, look, you could do some tit carving. You could do some tit carving. You could get a plank of wood, right? And a knife or like a chisel or a chainsaw maybe. And, or anything that makes holes. You could chew it if you don't have a knife or scissors or a chainsaw. You could, a bit like a beaver. That reminds me. In my wardrobe, I've got a beaver coat. It's made out of real beaver. Keep it clean, says Sophie. Sorry, darling, sorry. I'm getting a bit carried away. But I do love a good furry beaver, does I? Anyway, you could do tit carving. I would love to see some tit carving. Please, if you're going to do tit carving this weekend, please send me in some photos. I would love to see... Well, Alex, our chef, whilst he's not chefing and sneaking around in the drunk Irish lady's bedroom, he can be seen out in the garden whittling some sticks away. I wonder if he could do some tit carving. Alex, I know you're watching. Can you do some tit carving? Ooh, crochet. Now, what's that? What's going on up there? What is that? It's a bottom. Oh, how filthy. X-rated Friday night. You could do some crochet. I've been crocheting a Corona blanket, but I do rather like the look of this pillow. Quite an unusual pattern, isn't it? Quite an unusual look. I wonder what it is. It looks a bit like, do you think maybe it's a lettuce or something? I'm not sure. Is it like a pink lettuce? What's that little bit in the middle? I'm a bit confused by that. But you could do some crochet. I love crochet. Crochet's marvellous. It really is. All you need is string and a hook, and if you don't have a hook, you can use your finger. You can you could do your crocheting with your hooking. You're hooking over. What are you saying ew for, Sophie? Ew what? Yes, crochet. Bit of wool and hook. Or your finger. Or a stick. You could try a stick. I don't know really. I've only ever used a hook and string. Not string, wool. Wool. Use wool. Oh, you could do baking. You could do baking a cake. Look at this cake that I found. It's rather interesting, don't you think? I don't know what it is. If you have any idea what sort of cake this is, I think it's a Victoria's sponge. I'm not sure. If you know what sort of cake this is, could you let me know? Could you write in the comments? Stop being dirty, Dragma says here. I am not being dirty. I have no idea what you're on about, Ian Swanwick. I'm not being dirty. I'm just giving you some ideas of things you could do in your house. Yes. Crochet flesh tunnel. Yes, the crochet flesh tunnel. If you know what sort of cake this is, do let me know. Oh, hang on a second. Pop. Oh, no, not that one. Pop. There we go. I wanted to get back to the live drawing. I didn't want credits rolling on my screen. Yes. Do you think it's a chocolate cake? It could be a chocolate cake, couldn't it? I wonder if it is a chocolate cake. I don't know what it's meant to be either. It's a strange shape for a Victoria's scone, don't you think? Not Victoria's scone. It's not Victoria's scone. Victoria's scone was my guest. So many tits behind me, says Kate. I can't see. Are these all tits? Oh, Sophie Shears said she made chocolate cake. Did you, Sophie? Did it look like this chocolate cake? I don't know if it's chocolate. It looks like, what's coming out of it? It looks like vanilla drizzle. Oh, maybe it's a lemon drizzle cake. I think that might be what it is. I think it's lemon drizzle. And that's the end of Lockdown Looks this week. Sophie Shears made chocolate cake, but nobody can tell me what that cake is. If you could tell me what it is. Sophie just twants some normal clean chat. I haven't said anything filthy. Other than the bit about porn, obviously, but I haven't really said anything other more filthy than... Actually, please don't tell Sophie Share Wales, because weeks ago when they started asking me to do this show, they said you must not swear and you must not say anything vulgar. And I try not to, generally, but sometimes. Old people have needs too, you know. Not like that. Not like that. Or your cake's not like that, is it? Okay. Woo! Look, let's move on. Oh, here we go then. Here we go. Well, I think it's nearly time for the fake news, actually. Do you know what? I'm always amazed. Each week, the time flies. Where am I now? Oh, someone's just... Oh, they're doing me an hairdo, look. Lovely hairdo. Dumping some shit on my head by the looks of it. Oh, they don't think my hair needs any manure. I'm telling you that right now for free. I think it's grown so much. It's grown so much already. I don't need any miracle grow put on it. Thank you very much. None of that. Oh, cows. I do love cows. Now, I remember when I was younger, when I was a little girl, just a few years old, I lived on a farm. I did. I lived on a dairy farm before I was a Hollywood actress, before the Spanish influenza, before the Titanic sank. In fact, Queen Victoria was on the throne at the time, and I used to live on a farm. And we had cows and things. And I remember very well the cows coming in to be milked. And we didn't have none of this fancy shenanigan machinery going on. Look at what he's putting sun cream on its udders, look, in case it gets sunburnt, I think. Moo cow, yes. You stop being dirty. Shut up, Ian, I'm not dirty. The cow's dirty. Look what's going on here. Oh, we keep missing it. Next time I'll duck up. There we go. Whoop. Well, we had to do it by hand, see? We didn't have none of that stuff. None of those, like, udder massages going on. We had to do it by ourselves, and we were... sat on a little stool all day long. Take me blooming hours it would, but I loved it. And, oh, fresh cream. Anyway, in my kitchen, we had boxes. We didn't have fridges back then. And we had my brother had a rather strong tendency at fancying of sausages. He loved sausages in the morning. So we used to keep the sausages in a little box on the tabletop. in the kitchen. Yes, we did. And anyway, one day, well, I was desperate for the toilet. And the toilet, it was late at night, okay? It was late at night, and the toilet was down the other side of the garden. We didn't have one indoors back then. We had to go down the other side of the garden, which was about 2 miles away, because don't forget, I lived on a farm. We had miles and miles of land. And I had to go 2 miles to the toilet. And anyway, in the middle of a stormy night, I could not be arsed with that. So what I did was I sneaked down into the kitchen in the dark of the night, and I got the sausage box. And I thought that was a really good place to put it. I put it in there until the morning. So I squatted over the sausage box and I did my business, you know, nice and tidy. Put the sausage box away, just popped it on the top and thought, in the morning when I get up, I will take it down. Well, anyway, the next day, my lazy bugger of a brother, who normally got up after me, he got up before me and he made. Do you know what he had for breakfast? You can have a guess. Time for the fake news.
Good evening. This is the fake news on Friday the 22nd of May. Princess Prank Caller. The fourth in line to the throne, Her Royal Highness Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana Cambridge Mountbatten, Windsor, Middleton, Saxe, Coburg, Gotha the First, dubbed Little Shit for short by her great-grandmother, has taken to prank calling. Inspired by the retro noughties TV programme reruns of Dom Jolly's Trigger Happy TV, after the nanny ran out of ideas during the lockdown homeschooling, a royal correspondent said, the little princess has taken to stealing her mother's mobile phone when she isn't looking and prank calling members of the royal family. She has so far worked her way down the line of succession, calling them and saying in a strange gobbling child voice, I am the coronavirus, and then coughing down the phone, shouting, Gotcha! Noel Edmonds style. Could the fourth in line really be after the throne? Government approves NHS staff pay rise. The government have today announced that they will be honouring the NHS staff pay rise, agreeing to almost doubling their salaries. Entry-grade nurses can now expect starting salaries of £30,000. Whilst the pay rise is most welcomed, reflecting the sterling service over the past 72 years, critics have questioned how the government were going to fund the pay rise. The Prime Minister said in a statement, We believe that the tremendous work by the NHS heroes over the past 3/4 of a century deserve recognition, and these staff heroes should be rewarded. We are therefore doubling their salaries. This will be funded by an increase to the NHS workers' registration fee to £25,000 a year. Return to the wild. Nature continues to take over during lockdown this week as the phoenix was spotted rising from an abandoned car fire in Tremorfa. Fireman John Smith said, We had an anonymous tip-off of an abandoned car fire on an industrial estate in Tremorfa. Upon arriving at the scene, we were amazed to see what can only be described as a massive firebird coming out of the wrecked car's air conditioning vents, only to take off with a loud squawky screechy sound. Tourism back on the up. In a bid to control the stupidity of English tourists who are flaunting the easing of lockdown rules in England, resulting in stupid people crossing the border to Welsh hotspots, tourism hotspots have been thinking of novel ways to tackle the growing concerns. Big Pit in Glenavon have dug a huge hole where the car park used to be, and workers have been directing English cars into the literal Big Pit. Heaven Price, the car park attendant, said, To be honest, it's a really good idea. They literally drive into a big pit where they are trapped and contained. When the pit gets full of Muppets, we'll fill it in and have a lovely new Welsh hill to enjoy. TTEDF continues to spread. And finally, the Thomas the Tank Dance Engine fever has continued to spread globally. The latest country to report positive cases is Russia, where a whole boat's worth of Navy personnel have been struck down with the virus. Not to miss an opportunity, the Russians decided to put on a show and show off their dancing skills to people who couldn't care less if they catch the virus or not. And that is the end of this week's fake news. Join us next week for some more fake news.
Oh God, we're back on air. Oh, sorry, I wasn't just dozing off there at my table. Your bum is a big pit. Shut up, Kate Knowles. That's not a very nice thing to say. My bum is not a big pit. Mum, my mother says, if you were born before Titanic, how old does that make me? Well, Mother, we all know where you came from. You came to this country many years ago. You came with the Vikings, don't you remember? I know you're old. Maybe you've forgotten. I'm sure you came with the Vikings, or was it the Norman invasion? Actually, weren't you the one that fired that arrow into Harold's eye? Who the fuck is Harold, anyway? I don't know. If anyone knows who Harold is, please tell me, because I'd love to know. I really don't know. Summit in Hastings. Oh, fuck. I mean, I went to school years ago. I don't remember my history, do I? I don't remember my history at all. My mic's on, though. I remember to turn my mic on. Oh, I'm clever. I'm going to wait until you agree. Train! What are you on about, Kate Knowles? There's no train. Oh. I'm a bit worried, actually, about that Thomas the Tank Engine dance fever, you know. Well, I love trains, you know that, but I don't want it. I've got so much street cred right now. It's taken me, as old as I am, to get this much street cred. Look at all these crowds of people over there. They've queued up to see me. I've got that much street cred that people queue for miles, even with social distancing. Hundreds of miles with social distancing, because they've got to take 2 minutes apart. But yes, I've got so much street. I do not want that Thomas the Tank Engine dancing. Although, mind you, those dancing sailors were rather dishy, weren't they? But I do love trains. I do. I remember my mother told me a story about the first train she went on. It was Edison's rocket or something. Was it Edison? Was it Edison? No, he did lights. Whose rocket was it? I'd love to know whose rocket. If anyone knows whose rocket my mum rode on, I would love to know. It was someone's rocket she rode on. It was the first train ever made. She went on it, she did. Yes, because before we fell from grace, we were very aristocratical. I think that's a word. Aristocratical? Yes. We were very aristocratical. That's how I got these solid gold earrings that with real jewels in them. Can you see them? Oh, look, my eyebrows are just... Real jewels. Oh, my God, it's past. It's time to go. But before we go, my final lovely little feature for you all, because we do love it, don't we? We do love it. My final little feature... Train, loads of carriages. I know. I love carriages. Carriage rhymes with marriage. Marriage is rubbish, but cabbage is wonderful. Trains pulling... Can you imagine trains pulling lots of cabbages? Wouldn't that be funny? Trains pulling cabbages. I want to see that in my garden. A little cabbage train going whoop whoop. Anyway, songs about trains. Cheers to you all. Have a wonderful week. How are you coping with the lockdown, my favourite auntie? Not very well, darling. I'm going mad. You must take the A train to go to Sugar Hill way up in Harlem. If you miss the A train, you'll find you missed the quickest way to Harlem. Hurry, get on now, it's coming. There it is. Listen to those rails a-humming. All aboard the A-train. Soon you'll be on Sugar Hill in Harlem. thank you so much for joining me this evening. It was wonderful to have you all join me for another Friday late night Natterbox. I do love you very much. Please stick to social distancing rules this weekend and follow the rules. The sooner we do, the sooner we get out of here and the sooner this show will stop. But I do love the show. It's going to be carrying on forever, whether you like it or not. No, it's not. It's not, because I'm going to be busy. As soon as lockdown ends, I'm going to be busy. I promise you, I'm going to be going out every Friday night dancing. There's been so much dancing that I've missed over the last 3 months. Ooh! Anyway, have a wonderful weekend. I do hope you stay safe and enjoy yourselves, and stay safe when you're shopping. Do all those wonderful lockdown things over the weekend. Draw your naked mum. Good night. I love you. Goodbye.